Ask Marie. Married at First Sight, season 11, episode 6. This evening, I'm going to rate the progress of each of these couples from 1 to 5. 5 being the hottest, okay? 1 being the coldest. All right, now we have Brett and Oliver. And it seems as though Oliver doesn't really want any kids right now, but Brett does. He wants kids because he sees that she's a good woman, and she is a good woman, and she's gonna make somebody a good wife one day. All right, but he has not stopped his dating until 2 days before the match. So his last date is fresh in his mind. He's not really clear and ready for a wife, let alone dating. It's been 3 years since she's had her last date, and that means she's clear, and she's waking up as they talk and communicate. She's waking up as to who he is, and it seems as though I'm not sure if this man wants to have a family with children without even taking time to fall in love with his wife, or what. She's not in a hurry to have kids. She wants to live as husband and wife and get to know who he is, how he responds to all 4 seasons. Can you blame her? Okay, she didn't cheat on her partner, and that's what's impressed him the most, because his last date, actually the one that he was engaged to, cheated on him twice. Not once, but twice. And that's something he seems to have a problem with. Now, if they were engaged, he was probably in love. So she has reservations and some attraction to him. He has some attraction to her as well. But I can't say that's love. How would you rate that? A 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? Because this man is starting to sound like someone that wants to have her pregnant and then children, and that would free him up to go and do as he pleases in life, unless he falls in love. Now you got Bennett and Amelia. Amelia is the one that's studying to be a doctor. Bennett is her husband. He's very, very thoughtful, and they are indeed vibing. She feels lucky to have been paired up with him because he's so thoughtful. They originally didn't want to pair them up because they said they're just too much alike. They both got that hippie style. Alright, it was obvious that they were a match. Bennett wore drawers to swim in. Everybody else got on swimsuits. And he comes, because like I said, he's got the mentality of a hippie. And he comes out there with his underdrawers. He also sleeps in a gown, long shirt. And he's got to move around a lot in living if he's expected to stay with Amelia, because she's doing her residency somewhere other than where they are now. Well, they're in Mexico on the honeymoon right now. All 5 couples are in Mexico on their honeymoon. So this is a time, even though the pandemic is going on, for them to really kind of get to know and get close. But after they get back, he's going to have to move. Is finding this out. It doesn't matter to him as long as he's with Amelia. All right, and this guy is so happy. He thinks he's died and gone to heaven. So marriage is easy for the both of them right now. They knew each other before the wedding, but they don't know each other like they will know each other. Then there's Amani and Woody. They are definitely vibing, and Woody is a morning person, but Amani can handle it. See, Amani is strong. She knows what she wants, and she knows how to protect herself. They both seem to be ready for sex, in that she's always asking him to take a shower with her, and he's ready each time. And they have yet, that I know of, it doesn't appear that they have consummated the marriage, but I wouldn't be surprised if they have. They're blending well. He gets to go out with the other couples and they're swimming and whatnot. He jumps in and loses his ring. She took it lightly. She was cool when he lost his ring. And again, like I said, she's ready for sex. But they talk a lot. She went to dinner. They spent a lot of time together. She told him that her previous relationship, that she was going out with a man that was married. So that has put some distrust in her for men up the road, but she has no intentions of making him pay for what this guy did to her. And that's a good thing. So she has some trust issues. So she's willing to give Woody a chance. Not a lot of experience in sex does she have, but Woody is willing to teach her. Not a lot of guys. He's wise, because not a lot of guys don't want to do that. They want them ready-made, and when they're ready-made, those generally are the ones that tip, because they're not satisfied with that man. Our name is Karen, who's 30, and Miles, who's 26. And forever, some way, some fashion, he's throwing it in her face that she's older than him. And she's slow to trust Miles because she's got these reservations in view of what she heard just before she marched down the aisle. He's had several relations, more than 10, and she feels like she's going to be number 11 unless he proves himself to be a different man, as she knows him from those social media information. He did live with a female once before, but he says it was only as a roommate, because she's requesting, they have open communication as well, but they're not as close as Amani and Woody, and she's telling him she may want some quiet time for herself, some me time. So, and they're talking about space. Each one of them sometimes wants space. She's only had 2 relationships that were meaningful and lengthy, but they were a waste of time because they never wanted to commit to her. Well, there's a reason. Miles will find out. They have good chemistry, though. Good chemistry between the two of them. They're starting to come closer. She's letting her wall down. Miles is very protective, and his 10 previous relationships were short relationships. In fact, one of them had a baby by someone else, because he was looking for a wife and he doesn't have a wife, but he's very, very charming, as you can see. But he needs to stop teasing her about being older than him, and maybe she will stop recognize the fact that he's 4 years younger, because he's starting to look a little immature. Christina and Henry. Henry has no experience in any avenue in his life. No experience dating, no experience traveling, no experience even talking to females. And he's very nervous because you got to remember, a camera is on them at all times. So he's nervous with that. He's a late bloomer. He's afraid to try new things like canoeing and things like that, and jumping on the bungees and stuff like that. Not adventurous. All of his friends are females, but they're not female dates. Well, one of them said she dated him, but he was so boring, she ended it. And I'm wondering, because Christina looks very sad when she looks at all those other couples and how they're blending, and she looks at her relationship with Henry. It just makes her sad. And there's so much space when they're supposed to be sitting together. There's a lot of space in between them. His head is down. This is week 5, and she has until week 8 to get him out of this shell so she can decide whether or not to stay married. Do you think that she'll make it? Do you think that she'll get to first base? One thing about those people who are in shells, when they come out, they come out. And when he comes out, he may be in love with her, and she won't be able to get rid of him. So I don't know what that would be a good thing for him or not. But he's 34 years old. I believe she's 30. But it's time for him to respond. She doesn't want to take the lead. And I think I talked about Brett and Olivia. I did. It seems like I've left out one couple, and then again, I don't think I did. Okay, but if you're rating Miles and Olivia, how would you rate them from 1 to 5? 5 being the hottest. Let me know what your ratings would be for Miles and Olivia, as well as Bennett and Amelia, and Amani and Woody. Boy, I'm gonna tell you, that relationship is smoking. Then there's Karen and Miles. What would you rate them? And Christina and Henry. He might make her happy if everything works out. Time will tell. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and do subscribe. God bless.